Hi everyone, welcome to Mom Bod Fitness, and today I'm going to teach you the 4 foundational movements that I teach to all my doula clients on their first prenatal visit. These exercises aren't super complicated, but they're really important in establishing foundational skills and awareness for how your body moves so that we can see what kind of exercises might benefit you the most. These are going to help you feel better whether you're 20 weeks or 38 weeks, can help alleviate a lot of the pain we tend to feel in pregnancy, and can be really, really useful in getting your body ready for the demands of labor and birth. So let's get started. So the first tool I'm going to teach you is called the pelvic tuck and untuck. Now I'm going to teach this to you on all fours. If for some reason you have any discomfort in your knees or wrists, you can do this standing or sitting on a birth ball, but I'm just going to give you a couple things to watch out for. But first, we'll teach it on all fours. So first, come into a stacked alignment with your knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders. Take a minute to spiral the insides of your elbows forward and just try to bring your spine into as neutral a position as possible, okay? So we don't want to be like dumping into the shoulders or rounding the back. We're just coming into relaxed and neutral. You can keep your toes tucked under or flat, whichever is most comfortable for you. And then we're going to start with what is traditionally thought of as a cat-cow movement. So we're going to start by rounding the shoulders, dropping the head, pushing the spine up like a stretching cat, and then dropping the belly and look up. Let's do a couple more of those. So round the back and drop the belly. And now the next time you do that, I want you to see if you can isolate that movement to, instead of using your whole spine, I want you to try to just use your lower back. Okay, so we're rounding and arching, rounding and arching. And once you feel comfortable with that movement, see if you can't move that rounding and arching sensation even lower so that it's only your pelvis or your tailbone that's moving. So we're going to be tucking the tailbone and lifting, tucking and lifting. So really, the rest of your spine shouldn't be moving at all. This is just a tucking and lifting of the tail. And you may find that one of these movements is much easier than the other. You may find that it's really, really easy for you to tuck, but then your untuck kind of just brings you back to neutral, or the opposite. You may find the untuck really easy, but then it feels like you almost find a sticking point when it gets to tucking. Okay, so this can give you some clues about what pattern you normally stand in, what muscles are maybe needing a little bit more stretching or strengthening from you. But even just this move, tucking and untucking, is an amazing way to restore some mobility to the pelvis, release tension in the pelvic floor, especially the back of your pelvic floor, and also help you get a little bit more range of motion here, which can be so useful in labor and birth. Okay, so you can just do this for a few minutes. Now, if you have discomfort in your wrists, you can try coming up onto fists or putting yoga blocks underneath your hands. If that's just not working for you, you can do this standing, which would look like this. So standing, kind of neutral posture, okay? And then you're going to tuck and untuck. Tuck, nice soft knees, and untuck, tuck, and untuck. All right, so some no's for doing this on your hands and knees are going to be taking your whole spine with you, okay? So if you find it impossible to just isolate that movement of your pelvis, just keep working on it until you can start to have that awareness and mobility. But we don't want to just be doing a ton of cat-cows here. That's not what we're going for, okay? Some other things might be dropping your head between your shoulders, or really trying to push up a ton between those shoulder blades, okay? We're trying for relaxed and neutral. For our next move, we're going to come back to standing, and you're going to need either a dowel or like a mop or a broom handle. Okay, so I'm going to take one arm over my shoulders to hold the broom kind of by the back of my neck. The other arm is going to hold it here near my tailbone, my sacrum, okay? And again, you're coming into as much of a neutral posture as possible. And I'm going to get a little closer so you can see. But you can see that some parts of my back are touching the broomstick and some are naturally curving away, okay? That's how it's supposed to look. So you may find that yours looks a little different than mine based on how you stand, but at neutral, you should have some natural movement away from the pole and some parts that are touching. So from here, soft bend in the legs, feet are about hips distance apart, and you're going to send your hips back behind you, slowly hinging forward, but you don't want the amount of your back touching that pole to change, okay? So you'll feel a little bit of a stretch maybe on your hamstrings and through your glutes. And when you get to the point where you either feel more of your spine rounding and pressing into that broom, or feel yourself arching away from it and getting less of your spine touching the broom, you want to stop. Okay, so only go as far as you can while keeping that exact same alignment of your spine. Okay, so for me, that's about right here. I'm just gonna stay here, take a deep breath, feel that stretch across the back of my body. Then I'm going to exhale and press into my heels as if I'm gonna stand up. So I can feel my glutes and my hamstrings turn on here. And on my next exhale, I'm going to press up to stand. Okay, so you can do a few of these and just experiment with what it feels like. Everybody's range of motion here is going to be different. So some of you may have to stop right here. Others may be able to get all the way down here. Okay, so it's really helpful to do this in front of a mirror or a camera with a partner so you can kind of tell what's going on. But we're just going to practice this hinging down and pressing up. Inhale down. Nice breath here. Press through your heels. Engage the back of the body and press up. And that is our hip hinge. This is the precursor move to really effective strengthening exercises like squats and lunges. It's also just a really important movement for everyday life. So I highly encourage you to explore this one at any point throughout your pregnancy. Our next move is called the standing psoas release. And you're gonna need either a set of stairs, a yoga block, or a sturdy book or something like that. Just something that you can stand on that's high enough so that your dangling leg doesn't like touch on the floor. Okay, so I'm gonna use the wall here for balance. Make sure you have something to hold on to or someone. And I'm just gonna do this first facing the camera so you can kind of see. Okay, so I'm stepping up on one block. Here, I'll use this. All right, so I'm putting my right foot up on the block, so my left foot is dangling, okay? And then we're just going to take a moment to even out the hips, okay, so that we don't have any of this situation or this, okay? We want nice and even, relaxed. A little bit of a bend in that standing leg, and my other foot is just kickstanding on the ground right now to keep my balance, okay? Then from here, I'm gonna flex the feet to lift that left foot off the ground, okay? I'm gonna squeeze my left butt cheek to bring my leg back behind me, and then I'm just gonna let go and let the leg swing, okay? So, now I'm not putting any effort into making my leg swing back and forth. I'm just letting gravity do this. This is really helpful if you have a partner or someone who can kind of, like a cat, bat your leg back and forth to keep it swinging. But if at any point you're on your own and you're doing this, if your leg slows down, just go ahead and squeeze your glute again and let go and let it keep swinging. So you can do this for about a minute or so. And then the next time your leg swings forward, just step off and then give a minute, walk around, see how one leg feels compared to the other. For me, after I do this, the leg that I've had swinging feels a little lighter, a little looser, maybe even a little longer. Okay, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do that on the other side. So standing up here. Now again, the nose are shifting way into this hip, but also we don't want you like lifting up into the hanging hip either, okay? So nice, even, neutral posture, slight bend in the standing leg. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm gonna squeeze that butt cheek back and let it swing. Now for me, I can feel this leg does not swing as easily as the other one. So see, it's already like slowing down. So I'm gonna have to restart it a few times. And so that just tells me that my psoas, which is a muscle that wraps from your bottom ribs through the pelvis and to the front of the leg, it's just a little tighter on this side, which in birth would be really important to know because baby has to navigate past the psoas muscles to get deeper into the pelvis. And if one or both sides are tight, they're gonna have just a little bit trickier time. This is also just really great for doing before you go out on a walk or something like that to just release some of that tension in your hips Also really good if you just need to relax at the end of the day, as the psoas muscle tends to be where we hold a lot of our stress. Okay, so then I'm just going to swing forward and land, walk around, and just see how you feel. Okay, so if you notice one side is a little more tense than the other, I do recommend you do both sides every time you do this, but you can spend a little longer on the side that's a little more tense if you feel like you need it. Finally, we're coming to our last move, and that is candles. So I want you to find a comfortable seat. You can be in a chair or on the ground, but just make sure that you're able to sit in a neutral posture. Okay, so a lot of times I see people sit on the ground and they're like this. Okay, it's almost impossible not to do that. Instead, think about bringing a bolster or a pillow or something, a rolled up yoga mat underneath you, just so your hips can kind of tip forward into this neutral posture without you having to work at it. Okay, so from there, we're gonna start by relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears and just soften your belly a little. We're gonna take a deep breath in, place your hand on your belly and feel your breath go down to your baby. And then just relax. Exhale. Take another deep breath. And relax. Now on our next exhale, we're going to practice the lightest engagement of the pelvic floor, thinking of an arrow drawing up into or towards your belly button. And when you exhale, I want you to practice pursing your lips slightly as if you're trying to blow out a set of birthday candles. Now you don't want to spit all over the cake and blow them all out at once. You want long, sustained blowing, so you could blow out 100 candles if that's where you are. Okay, so deep breath in. Up arrow, light blow. Inhale. Up arrow from the pelvic floor and blow out those candles. So when you do this, you should feel a sort of gentle corseting in of your waist as your deep abdominal muscles squeeze the remaining air out of your abdominal cavity. If for some reason this feels awkward or you're having a lot of trouble and feel like you're almost having to like grip down to push out the air, then I just want you to widen your mouth. So instead of pursed lips blowing out birthday candles, you're going to think of fogging a mirror. So that's what this would look like. Deep breath in. Nice wide mouth. Okay, again, breath in. Up arrow, lift the pelvic floor, and wide mouth, fog the mirror. Okay, so see which one of those feels most comfortable and which makes you feel as if you're getting the most even engagement around your baby from your abdominal wall. This is a really excellent skill to practice engaging your core in a really functional way rather than just bracing or bulging down and kind of having trouble managing that pressure. So this is a great one to start early in your pregnancy if you can, because it's going to support your belly a little bit better as it grows. But even if you're already towards the end of your pregnancy, I highly encourage you to practice this one just because it will kind of prepare the coordination between your pelvic floor, your breath, and your core, which is really important for when you get to that pushing phase during birth. I hope you've enjoyed these 4 foundational exercises. Like I said, I give these to all of my clients on their first prenatal visit, and then depending on how things go, we tweak from there. So everyone should learn these. And honestly, I give these to all my postpartum clients as well. This is just something that human bodies tend to need, especially given the way we tend to move and sit a lot during our daily lives. So please consider giving these a try and then come back to the comments and let me know how it felt. Ask any questions you have and we'll try to troubleshoot together. Don't forget to like this video and hit the bell in the top to subscribe for more postpartum and prenatal fitness without the bullshit.